Welcome, everyone. We have a special report today with a special girl, Lauren Siecankmn. So, she is a pro volleyball player, a Wilhelmina model, and an actress. But she also had some difficult challenges that a lot of you go through. Eating disorder. So, we're going to learn a little bit about that. Plus, we're going to learn a little bit about her and a little bit about volleyball. I think you're going to have a very good time listening to this. So, let's welcome to the show. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get off the go here. Is where are you from? Let's learn where are you from.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how did somebody from Omaha, Nebraska get involved with volleyball?
I played indoor volleyball club all the way since I was 10 years old. And then I played high school volleyball, continued the club volleyball, and then I played indoor volleyball at the University of Nebraska for a semester.
Interesting. Now you play outdoor volleyball now, correct?
I do. Yes, I do.
Was that a huge change?
It was a big change. We had an indoor sand court at the University of Nebraska.
Oh,
And so that's kind of where I got my practice, and that's where I fell in love with it, and that's kind of when I decided that's what I wanted to do. So I moved to California.
I guess that's the place to be for pro volleyball. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it is.
Is it bigger here than in Florida?
Oh yeah, way bigger
Oh,
here.
really?
hmm
Interesting. And when you came down here to play volleyball, what are some of the challenges you had in regards to playing volleyball?
Well, first when I came down here, that was when I was at my lowest weight originally. I suffered from an eating disorder called orthorexia, where it's not a typical eating disorder. It's where you focus, you're just more, it's called an obsession with healthy eating. It's not about trying to lose weight or looking at your body and thinking you need to look a different way. It's just about being obsessed with eating healthy and being healthy. Um, so I kind of developed that out of I had a boyfriend issue, and it kind of stemmed from a loss of control in my life, and I felt like having control and this power over my food and power of what I was putting into my body, that was kind of my I felt like that was my only power at the time. So I kind of the situation led to a disorder, and but all the stress and everything from this event that was going on, I lost 20 pounds in weight, and I was accused of being anorexic. I was accused of forcing myself to lose weight because I didn't want to be at this university, and just a lot of different types of things. But
Who was accusing you?
what?
Who was accusing you? Just random people,
Coaching,
friends?
coaches,
Oh, wow.
friends. Yeah. So when I went to the University of Nebraska, and I committed there when I was a sophomore in high school, and it was my dream ever since I was ever able to hold a volleyball. So I was my dream ever since then. I got there, and it just wasn't what I expected, and it was kind of like all my dreams that I had for my entire life. I got there and they were crushed. It wasn't what I wanted, and I felt lost, and I didn't know what I wanted in life after that, and I didn't know what to do, and that's when all my stress came, and it really took a toll on my body. I would get sick before going to practice. Like my stomach would just ache and ache and ache, and I developed IBS. That's when I started developing
Oh, wow.
depression, anxiety, and that's also the same time when I was going through this issue with a boyfriend where I was kind of in an unhealthy, like manipulative relationship where I felt like I didn't have control over my life. I felt like I lost my dreams of college volleyball. I lost kind of the control of my dreams. I lost control in this relationship, and that's when I decided to leave the University of Nebraska. I went home, and I ended up breaking up with this boyfriend, and basically I just lifted weights, ate food, kind of did a lot of reading on nutrition and exercise, and I ended up gaining back all my weight, and I decided I wanted to play beach volleyball, and I wanted to pursue that professionally eventually, and that was my goal. And so like I said, I gained back all my weight. I started. I still am a healthy eater, but not to obsessive extent where I was. But kind of through learning about nutrition and learning how the body works, I was kind of able to learn how to better fuel not just my body but my brain. And and I kind of alleviated symptoms of depression and my anxiety just from learning what foods to put in my body and the importance of nutrition. People really don't know how deep nutrition really goes into our brain and how it affects our whole body. So
Sure.
yeah, and so that was kind of my big thing, and then that's when I came out to California. And I played at USC. I played beach volleyball for USC for a year, but I was ineligible because of my transfer. And so Misty May was our assistant coach,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, she was kind of my mentor throughout that whole thing. And I had talked to her about everything I'd been through and what my goals were for the future, and just kind of my situation of not being able to compete because I was ineligible. And she kind of mentored me through it. And this is when I decided that I should not continue to play for USC and I should finish my degree, but model, act, and just pursue professionally on my own while I'm in school, not play in the NCAA, just so I could have the opportunities to make money and kind of go
Oh,
about it a different route. And everybody gets there a certain way, but everybody's path is different. And so that's the path that I took. And
let me ask you a
um,
couple questions if I may.
yeah.
So you came out here and you left the boyfriend, you left that environment that you didn't like. When did you start getting control?
I think I started getting control back when I started. I think I got it when I started reading about this nutrition and figuring out that I can have this confidence in myself. Like I saw that I had a dream again. And that's
Mm,
kind of what gave me the confidence in myself because I felt lost. I had a boyfriend that at age 19 told me he loved me and wanted to marry me and was getting me a promise ring and then was completely lying and cheating on me and doing unbelievable things behind my back. And um, it was like I had dreams of this relationship and I had dreams of my future with volleyball. And when both of those were gone, I was left with nothing and I was lost and I was confused. And I think in order to have control, you have to have a dream and you have to have a purpose. And I finally found my purpose again.
yeah, it sounds like that's when things changed quite a bit. Now you're awesome, you're obviously an awesome volleyball player because you were playing pro already. You were playing in the
Thank
University
you.
of Nebraska. How long did it take you to get started with the pro circuit?
So this will be my first true season playing. I played a couple qualifiers last year, but I had just started last January playing. Whereas when I made the switch from NCAA to playing pro, so last year was
Oh
really
wow.
my training season. I played a couple of the tournaments. I was in main draw once for an NFL or NVL tournament, which is the other AV. There's two professional volleyball tours, the NVL and the AVP.
Sure.
I started off in NVL and I played a main. I was in main draw for one of those, and then I played a couple AVPs. Um, and tried to qualify for those, but didn't yet qualify. Didn't really have a set partner yet. I was just kind of learning the ropes of professional beach volleyball. So this year is really my first main go at it, and yeah, so that it's really fresh to me.
You know what? You made an interesting point before we started the interview on the show about objectification and how that's starting to, or maybe not even starting to, but it is starting to influence the female volleyball players. And I thought that was really interesting because I remember, I don't know how long pro volleyball has been around, maybe a decade or two, I don't know when it's been as big as it is now. But I remember females who played gymnastics or were involved in gymnastics, especially the Olympics, nobody really looked at them that way. Not very many people, at least my guy friends, or when I was younger, never really talked about them that way. And then they started becoming more objectified, and then they started doing Playboy, and things started to shift. But what did you see in the world of volleyball?
Yeah, I guess being in college and we would go to other schools and stuff. I was exposed to a lot of actual eating disorders like anorexia and girls who
Hmm.
would go and they would throw up after they eat, and it's because our bodies are objectified. People come to our tournaments because we're girls in swimsuits, and that's kind of what our sport has come to get our fans. And girls think they have to have their beach body by summer before the tournaments, and there's a lot of pressure on the way we look. And kind of after going through that where I wasn't anorexic and I wasn't throwing up, but being accused and feeling in that space of someone telling me I'm anorexic and being at that low of a weight and seeing myself look like that, and I've seen other girls look like that, and when I was at that weight, trust me, I had plenty of guys telling me how good that looked, and I knew inside it didn't, and um, but guys just I think girls think being skinny is good, and so kind of what I've been wanting to help out with and kind of give back by playing pro and by modeling is by showing and promoting that being healthy and fit is what's beautiful, and not striving to be skinny, and it's that's not what's important. What's beautiful is what's in your mind, and being strong and being healthy. That's the most important thing.
Has that been a challenge in regards to relationships? I'm assuming being a pro volleyball player, playing in the NCAA, being attractive as you are, that's got to be a challenge to get a guy who's just focused on your mind.
I mean, obviously, looks are always important, and for a relationship, you have to be attractive to the person. But I think it's a package, and I don't think it's like striving to be skinny. That shouldn't be something, striving to better yourself. You can strive to better yourself if you are a little bit overweight. Yeah, strive to be skinnier, but I wouldn't say skinny. I would say healthier and fitter, and that's naturally, like, that's how you're going to look better. But I don't think skinny is a good word. I think skinny should be taken out of the dictionary. I just think there's too many negative associations with it.
That's an interesting point. How tall are you, by the way?
I'm 5'10" and a half.
Okay, so yeah, you look tall in the pictures. I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, I am tall.
Yeah. How about your partner, Thornberry?
She is 5'10", so we're right
Okay.
beside each other. Yeah.
Now, when you play volleyball, I'm trying to wrap this up in the regards to the disorder, and we'll try to focus on some of the positive things you're starting to do now, because you've obviously overcome a great challenge, and that's wonderful. You have incredible intestinal fortitude there. In regards to your disorder, you said it did affect your playing a little bit. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
Well, when I was at the University of Nebraska and I was trying to play, I was so weak. I had lost 20 pounds that I was a setter, and they made us set with basketballs, and I actually tore my forearm, and they would just tape it up and my one forearm, and so the next day I went and I tore my other one, and I just kept going back and forth, and they kept taping my wrist and making me play on it, and I ended up, tearing both forearms and having to deal with that after I left the university, and but my mind. The biggest thing wasn't physically what I could do when I was 20 pounds less, but it was mentally how I was in the game. The weight really affects your mind, not your physical ability.
Absolutely. That's interesting, because it seems like it was a pretty aggressive sport in college.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a lot of, you have to know a lot of plays. Your mind has to be in it. It's quick. If you don't see the ball fast enough, you're not going to be able to make a play, and you have to be aggressive. And I know when I was 20 pounds lighter, things were just, coming too fast at me, and I kind of lost that drive and that like aggressive feel for the game, and it just went away. It was just completely different. But I didn't feel like my strength or I could still hit a ball. I could still, I was still able to have endurance. I didn't lose that. I didn't lose my ability to play the game. It was just mentally. I couldn't stay engaged.
yeah.
It wears on your mind.
How about now in pro volleyball? How different is that?
It's way different. It's definitely more pressure, but I think now that I have a healthier mindset and I have a healthier body and I have a purpose, it's enjoyable. There's more pressure, but I love it.
That's fabulous. It's a different type of pressure, right?
It is, yeah.
A
No,
lot based on yourself more so than everybody else yelling at you.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you have a wonderful website because you want to make sure that your message gets out there. What's going on? What do you got? What are you girls doing out there?
So basically, we are sharing our story on our website and kind of trying to promote our individual stories to anybody out there, and just trying to make a difference with people, and so people can really see what we're about and what we stand for. We're just not two professional beach volleyball players. We have a purpose. We have something behind it, and we want to give back, and we want to build our team, and we want people on our side. And if anybody wants to help, or working on sponsorships, working with like women's centers, trying to get into that. Where if anybody, has anything they want to help and be on our team, we would love that.
And what's the name of your website?
It's www.thornberry-sieckmn.com.
So www.thornberry-sieckmn.com. And Sieckmn is spelled Sieckmann.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. All right, I got that down. So Sieckmn. So that's fabulous stuff. They can send their stories as well, because there's a lot of, I'm sure you're not the only one out there suffering with this,
Yeah.
and a lot of other people who are having the same challenges.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions about what I went through, or if they're dealing with anything and want advice, feel free. My contact is on there. I have different contacts. My Instagram's on there. I don't have a Twitter or I have a Facebook, but I have my email is on there. So if anybody ever wants to contact me about anything, feel free to reach out.
That's fabulous. Last question before we take off. Thank you again for doing the interview. In regards to food now, you still eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend for people out there in regards to eating healthy?
So what I follow, I don't really call it a diet. I don't believe in diets. I just believe in lifestyles. It's called the Bulletproof Diet. It's kind of a new trend of eating, and it's really based on what type of foods work with certain like neurotransmitters in your brain that optimize brain function and performance, and it's really interesting. So I suggest the website is www.bulletproofexec.com. You just Google bulletproof diet, it'll come right up. I'm actually an ambassador for them, because that's the nutrition that I first started doing when I was at my lowest weight, and I gained back my 20 pounds. So I truly believe in it. I drink bulletproof coffee every morning. It's a low toxin coffee, and I put brain octane oil, which is a form of coconut oil, and ghee or grass-fed butter, and I drink that every single morning, and I swear by it.
Wow, sounds interesting.
It is.
I haven't even heard of that. Does it have a kick?
I mean, you'll feel a kick. It's a good kick.
It's a good kick. Well, thank you again, Lauren, for doing this. We truly appreciate it, and a lot of girls out there appreciate it as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let me remind everybody again, it's www.thornberry-sieckmn.com, Sieckmann. It's a wonderful place to go if you're struggling with an eating disorder. You can see how other people have overcome it. They faced the same challenges you did, and this is a great place to learn a little bit more and get some help if you need it.